Quarless.com is the premier purpose-driven creative ecosystem in 2026 and beyond. Welcome back. It is episode 7. Today we are going to focus on persistence being the only, I would argue, true and reliable friend. Speaking of persistence, I'm broadcasting, if you will, through the mobile because we had technical problems, setbacks again. So we tried through the computer, it wasn't working, and we then therefore switched to mobile. Clearly, I think we're working. I got a viewer on there. Hello, welcome. And what I wanted to share, this is now the 7th episode. So far, we've been averaging about 1,000 views per episode. So I want to appreciate you very much. If you are new here or you've returned, welcome back. And this originally, I started doing streaming, testing it out, etc. a few years ago. And the joke was, it started with just me speaking to myself. And this is just a little, what's it called? A little pro tip for you. Do not actually look at yourself. Look at the lens and focus there. And then you can see yourself out of your peripheral vision. But it's not like you're looking at yourself like an idiot, like talking to yourself, okay? Although today is connecting with something very beautiful, which has to do with persistence, as I said, being a true, reliable friend. And that is because the secret is the one being persistent. Persistence is actually a conscious type energy. And when you really recognize what it is, which is different than persistence, okay? So we're going to get into that today, persistence and consistency and how those things relate in terms of focusing on a purpose-driven objective or, to this degree, or this is the subject matter. So stay with me now. I want to stay on track. I tend to ramble, and I think some of you like that, but I get a little crazy. I have a little performance plan for today, just something simple, a little poetry that I wrote previously, but it ties in today. So I did want to make the point. A few years ago, it was me speaking to myself. Then there was one person. Right now, as I'm speaking, I see 2 people. So that's beautiful. And a lot of the 1,000 views are not live. They come over, I'd say like over the week. So we get 1,000 views over a week, and then we have the new podcast or the new live stream. And then each week we do that, and we're consistently doing it every week. This is episode 7, and we're getting about 1,000 views, 1,000 views, 1,000 views. Okay. So what we're doing, even the concept, the purpose, what we're doing is starting to take hold. The roots are the seeds are starting to plant themselves, okay? And I see another. Welcome. Come on board here. So it started with me just speaking to myself a few years ago. Then there was a few, and then now we're up to 1,000 per week. And it's not about the numbers. When you want to think about the numbers, I don't like this idea of, how many followers does someone have, or how many views do they get? In a general sense, this does prove that the message is getting out there. So that's the value in it. It's not a value point of what the message is, okay? The value is that the message is being received. So, and another beautiful thing, because I see you there right now, even if it were just you and I in this moment together, there is no past, there is no future, there's just the present moment, and you're here with me right now. You are the most valuable thing in existence, okay? Because together, we're tapping into the ether, into the source, and it's a beautiful thing. And hopefully, in what I do, there's a personal journey I'm on, but there's also a personal journey that you're on. And something that I say or do, or some concept that I've learned, including my failures, right? Part of Quarless Chronicles is I'm actually documenting the setbacks and failures, and we have some for this week, of course. And hopefully that helps save you time and effort in terms of what you're doing with your own life. So, one of the things we do is I value your time greatly. These episodes are roughly an hour each, so it's 1 hour per week. So, if you are someone that's actually, I call you, you're on the journey, which means you'll actually watch the full episode. You'll watch the full episode, you'll get a real sense of the little details and the overall, me as a character and what the vision is, things that other people will miss if they just chime in and leave, right? So you are on the journey with me and you are giving 1 hour per week of your life, which is, I appreciate that so much. And again, I hope you're getting great value out of that. So, but keep in mind what I've done is we have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That is 168 hours per week. So, what I've been doing in the 168 hours per week, I have to sleep, eat, and then separate from, so those are absolutes, right? You need to sleep, you need to eat. Separate from that, there is a bit of balance. Like I need to work in other areas to, my side. This is becoming my sole focus. But for now, you can let's call the other earnings my side project. Actually, that's one of the key projects, which we're going to talk about today, Mr. Jim Q, the education brand. And that has been the focus on earnings. And so besides that, there's the gym, there's some other activities. But the point is, this past week, I have dedicated all available time minus a little bit of like wind down time in the evening, dedicated to one specific task, and it's been brutal. So I'm going to cover that, and it has to do with not giving up, being persistent, okay? So we're going to cover that a little bit later. So if you're on the journey, that's so far, we have 6 hours worth of Quarless Chronicles content. If you have consumed those 6 hours, you are really getting a sense of what the vision is, where we are, what the problems are. So I appreciate you being on this journey with us, with me and the team. And that's 6 hours. There are others which that's why we've developed the blog and we're creating these little clips. But the blog is for the person that wants to be in tune, but they don't have that full hour a week, but they want the cliff notes, if you will. So that's where the blog comes in. It's a quick read. You can get a sense of what it's all about. All right. And so, let me just go. Hey, welcome, brother. Out to the Marine Corps. All right. Little gift for you. Little gift for everybody out there. All right. I want to focus on persistence, which is separate from consistency. Okay. So think of consistency as almost like a routine, like a ritual, like you have a set schedule with something you need to do. And it could be something related to a project or your own life. And when you're consistent, it's what's beautiful about consistency is that there's just a pattern that you don't have to think too much. It's like a behavioral pattern and you just continue, right? And as you continue these behaviors, they're measurable. That builds confidence. That also physically gets you towards your goal, whether it's in the gym, whether it's some project you need to do, whether it's improving yourself as an individual. When you are consistent, it shows you show yourself that you can hold yourself accountable. Okay. Now, persistence, I would say that this is a bit more where you're using, the cognitive functionality because you're focused on some specific objective, like, and it just came to me, so I'll say it, like in the Marine Corps, the mission is more important than troop welfare, okay? So in this context, and what I've done in this project with the Quarless Chronicles, Quarless.com, the platform, and this past week, I've made the objective my sole focus. So I've been, I've been and consult a doctor, right? But I've been lacking on sleep, and I've basically been I haven't given up on myself. I want to stay focused on persistence and the value of persistence. There is a cognition to it. So you focus, this is my point. You focus on the objective. And the difference is with consistency, you don't have to think too much. It's behavioral, it's a routine. With persistence, you have a goal, but there are different challenges and variables and things that are going to present themselves not in a good way, that are going to try to divert you away from what your objective is. So the point is, persistence is a reliable, true friend, because unlike other people in this world, let's say it this way, any entity that is outside of yourself, it could even be a brother, it could be a friend you've known for years, it could be anything. The reality is you cannot control their behavior. And if they choose to do behaviors that fall out of line with what your purpose is or what your goal is, they show themselves for who they are. And maybe you've been that person in the past, you've let people down, etc. That's not what we're here for. We're here to focus on the value of being persistent when you're focusing on an objective. And I would say with our project, we focus on admirable objectives, and the purpose is a good one. So therefore, it makes it you feel a sense of morality, if you will. So it makes when you're pursuing it more, it feels damn good, for lack of a better term, when you're focused on something valuable that can benefit others as well. And the point is, with the persistence, unlike consistency, persistence forces you to think and adjust, adapt, okay? Adapt and overcome. So when you're doing that process, there's a conscious element that fills you and fulfills you and makes this outstanding. So what I want to say is consistency and persistence are the keys. And with that said, we have, because part of this project, Quarless Chronicles, I want to share. I'm going to invoke DQ, Duncan Quarless, my father, who has passed away. But as you know, if you've been following this process, the intent is for his legacy to live on well beyond into the future. And that's well underway. However, when we talk about layers of intent, we have to be careful about what we present to people around us in public as well. So, for example, one thing my father would always say when I would be telling him an idea or I'd be sharing something, he'd go, man, with his Bajan accent, show me, don't tell me, go blind. Show me, don't tell me was the message, okay? Well received, Dad. The other thing, Napoleon Hill famously, he's quoted as saying, tell the world what you intend to do, but show it first. Meaning, shut up, grind, and then let your fruit reveal. Basically, don't. A funky analogy came to mind. So, and I won't go there because it's a family show. It had something to do with loads. Don't do it too soon. All right. So, with Quarless Chronicles, I want to be clear. We discuss things in the past, in the week. Okay, so we're in the present moment. So this is the point. It's a week. We have a huge vision that we're doing. Multiple brands on this creative ecosystem, all types of people involved, and this is what's beautiful. You know the news, what's out there with I don't even want to say it, but there's bad energy. There's characters that present themselves in ways that are good, but they are not good. They are very bad. All right. And it has to do with children. Okay. So I want to be clear that our purpose in every project we do at Quarless.com, there will be some element of the project that goes toward helping children in some way. So it could be, for example, I mentioned previously, like for the Ode to the Marine Corps project, it could be, let's say, honoring fallen Marines, the children of those Marines. Okay, that's just an example. It could be for the Bajan project for my father's from Barbados. It's a very small island in the Caribbean. How about a project for benefiting kids in poverty? Okay, I volunteered in the past, as I've mentioned before, with orphan children, and that experience blew me away because of the resiliency these kids need to have. And yeah, it's like it's like them growing up. Yeah, and I'm talking about small children that are vulnerable. And that's why we need to make sure that we have a system, a network where there are safeguards in place. I'm talking about, you know, CCTV type footage, more than one adult, all these kind of safeguards in place to make sure these kids are safe. And they need to be, you can, I don't want to get off track, but I'm highly focused on orphan children, vulnerable children, making sure they are safe and making sure that they understand that them being raised in the type of environment where they don't have the traditional parents is actually a blessing to them. Mr. Jim Q, the brand we're launching, it's a kids brand. The character, Mr. Jim Q, you can go to mrjimq.com. That's MRJIMQ.com. That is the character we've created. It's an animated project we're working on. But Mr. Jim Q wears overalls, and on the overall he has a little turtle here. And the symbol of this turtle is that wherever the turtle goes, the turtle's home is on its back. So the idea is to get away from these traditional ideas of like what a family should be, what a brother or sister or whatever should be, and you focus on stay with me, you focus on wherever you go, you're content with who you are and you're home. And for these little kids that wonder, why don't I have a home, why am I in this place with other kids, they know that they don't need that, right? Their home is within them. Okay, and that touches on to elements of spirituality, like and again, I try to stay away from specific, although I think I have Buddhist energy is I because I've checked into many different philosophies, and I just found that there was something about the non-judgmental nature and the simplicity of it, and you can really sense people caring and being loving and this kind of thing. So I just gravitated toward that. But I also know that, for example, within Christianity, there was this idea that Christ said that the temple of God is within you. These sorts of ideas. So it's like you are a sovereign, spiritual entity connected with the greater consciousness. You can call it God, the source, the universe, whatever it is. But there is some sort of consciousness that is beautiful. And this is what's wild is, and I've covered this in previous episodes, it's just like fire. As I mentioned, fire can heat a home, but fire can burn down the building, right? So it's a type of energy. And the problem is people that lack a sense of like a moral compass, they will try to take this energy and use it for negative things. So we want to be the light. And I don't mean fire burning stuff down. I mean the bright light that resonates with other lights, and we focus on creating a better society. And that's why I want to focus on kids. Another point about focusing on kids, these are beings that are closest to God. Like the Mr. Jim Q project is focused on babies, right? So it's like literally like 9 months old, these babies, they can't even walk yet. They're just starting to like figure out like, oh, these are my fingers. And like, oh, this is not, but they are super innocent. Even the ones that are I'd say there's maybe like 5 temperaments. So some of them have a natural, like they're uncomfortable, they're a little bit cranky and negative. Some are super chill no matter what's going on, right? But the point is, they all share a an innocent energy. Okay. So one thing is the world is not innocent. So we have to teach them to be aware. Don't be so trusting. But at the same time, because they are these little beings, we can help guide them to be one of the good ones. Okay. So that's the focus on why Quarless.com focuses on kids, all of our projects. And as I mentioned, so what we do is we have a big vision, but the Chronicles, this project that we're doing, this weekly project, it covers we have quarterly goals as well, right? So there's the big vision. And again, I'll say what it is. Quarless.com is the premier purpose-driven creative ecosystem on planet Earth in 2026 and beyond. That means that every single person on Earth, with the exception of people in like deep in the boonies or whatever, in places that don't have the internet or they don't have television, with those people being the exception, everyone knows Quarless.com. It's a known thing. We have millions of people that are on there, and together, again, there's a membership element, but it's also it's like a shop, it's a store. So people come, they need a t-shirt, they need a cup, whatever, they buy products on there. And then those funding, it's an economic system, it's a digital economy. So as the funds flow in, people involved, supporters, creators, investors, everyone involved with Quarless.com, they get rewards from that, but also it's all transparent. Part of that system is to benefit children in different ways, depending on what the project is, and together we can grow and change the world, okay? You know what? I just said together we can or we will. Don't speak in negatives. That's not a negative, but what it's saying is it's not present. So when it says we will do something, it's pushing it away and it's not now. So we speak in the present tense. We are doing that. This is our process. We have millions of members. All right. And then it becomes true. It is true. Fuck. Sorry. You see what I mean? All right. I have it down, so I just want to make a quick point. Oh, there are layers of intent. So in what we're doing, of course, I'm not telling everything because as my father taught me, show me, don't tell me. So some of the stuff is being shown as it's ready. It's being shown. And some of the stuff like we share what's been happening last week, what's going on for this week. It's a process that you can see what this is like. And again, there's value because we're making mistakes, we're having failures, right? So if I share those failures with you, instead of making it like instead of creating a beautiful picture of like, everything's going great, I show you the problems. And you can get a sense from me, right? Some people like my rambling, maybe it's annoying to you, and therefore you could just go to the blog and read 2 minutes, read what I said for an hour. So the point is these failures and setbacks are valuable to you. We also show what we intend to do in this. It's a 2-week, we're in the present moment. We have a week previous, a week in front of us. So that's like a 2-week cycle, and we just keep rolling forward. All right. And I just because I want to mix it up a little bit, I want to share a poem. I'll do it sort of in an a cappella fashion because it's about my electro pop music is mostly love songs. But one of them, it's like a side note. I just give a little shout out to my dad because it's just funny. But my dad said, show me, don't tell me, always, right? So I have a song. You can go to Jim Quarless on Spotify, Apple Music. All of my content is not on YouTube yet, but if you have any of the major platforms, go to jimquarless.com. I'm not jimquarless.com. Jim Quarless on the platforms, you can find it. Also, if you want to check out the Ode to the Marine Corps, that's a separate musical act called Quarless, which is focused on military style cadence with music. So it's pretty cool. It's a different project. But for the Jim Quarless music project, I have a song called Black Widow. And the concept is there's this a character, and he meets a girl, and then she's sort of mysterious, and he's gets a little bit confused based on her style, and then maybe just like the Black Widow spider lures in the male, and then kills his ass. Maybe she's like that, but it's the process, just like the male spider. He doesn't know he's gonna get. He thinks he's gonna get a little something. What up, girl? He thinks it's like everything's cool, and she lures him over. So in the process of the male spider going to the female spider, this is sort of where we've captured this in a human element. All right. So there's other lyrics to it as well. The song's called Black Widow. But the first chorus I'm going to share because it taps into. I thought of this because of my dad. It goes, and I'm going to do a little bit of the music so you get a feel for the vibe. It goes, I'm a believer. I want to see that. You're my co-rider. Just like a spider. With you, I'd crawl, I'd go. Love that hypnotic glow. Are you? I need to know. Don't tell, show me. A Black Widow. Nice. All right. Hey, that's a good one. So I've made, I don't know how many songs now. I probably have like over 10 songs, and maybe more than that, but I'd say like 8 of them are pretty good. They're like worthy of live shows. So I'm going to start focusing on getting out, doing the music thing live. And I work with a really good producer to create the music. So I'm going to think of some sort of live show where I need to be able to travel easily. So it's me doing the vocals, maybe background track with some sort of visual effects, maybe per town we go into. If I'm flying to Tokyo, we get like a dancing act to like perform as part of the show. We just make it cool, easy to travel. We're not paying for airfare for a whole band and crew and all that. We keep it efficient. We travel all around Asia. I'm based in Hong Kong. There are a lot of cities around. We don't even need to fly. We can travel by train or vehicles. All right. Usually I just ramble and it goes about an hour. I think we'll cut it a little bit short today, but I wanted to focus on what happened this week. All right. So if you've been following, I've been talking a lot of trash, with the big vision and the dreams and all these different things where we should be doing. And what you've been seeing is a pattern of accountability for the last several weeks of me. And I wouldn't even say it's foolish, right? But some people might judge me or perceive it as like, what a fool. This guy has a weekly show where he says what he's going to do, and he's way behind, and he keeps screwing up, and he keeps failing. So I'm not even going to get, and Kimmy's over there laughing because she knows what's up. So, but I have to say we've done, and I'll get into what it is. Okay. So fails and setbacks, I want to say everything is backlogged or put on hold except 2 things. And I would say that these are probably the most important things. So as the creative director, the CEO, I had to make a decision, and it was to come here, look foolish, tell you, for example, just so you're like, oh man, what is this guy doing? One thing that we've been remember, consistent and persistent. The consistent thing is every week we do this broadcast, podcast, whatever you want to call it, live stream. We do it every week, okay? Every Sunday night, Eastern Standard Time. And that is beautiful in itself, okay? So you got to give me credit for that. So we've been doing that. But within that process, what we're supposed to do, each week we do an hour-long live stream, roughly an hour-long live stream. We then transcribe that content. We break that content into a blog, post the video, the hour-long video, plus a little snapshot, 2-3 minute read, of what it's about, so people can really get a sense of what we've been doing. Right now, at this moment on the 15th of February, we are now halfway through the month of February. As you know, we count in 10-day cycles, 10, 20, 30, 40. We are now in the fourth cycle. We're about on the 20th of February. We're going to hit the fifth cycle. This is very exciting, counting in tens. I love it because we don't get caught in that old pattern of like Fresh Start Monday, which is a sham, as I mentioned, because it means you're already effed up over the weekend. So stay with it. I'm trying to tap into the ether and have a stream of consciousness here. So, we have actually, I said, but it's not true. I'm still trying to capture where I lost my train of thought. I'm getting back on the track. I was talking about everything failed except the consistency. It's now episode 7, and we've only posted, if you go to Quarless.com right now, click on blogs, you're only going to see episode 1 and 2. So where we have failed, it's been multiple weeks. Episode 3, episode 4, 5, 6, 4 episodes are not transcribed and put into blogs and posted, okay? Even this episode, we're behind. What am I doing? How was I able to go all of these weeks and miss that? That's something that's like the thing that has to happen is the weekly live stream. That was like the next thing I was supposed to do. Like, no matter what, got to do the live stream, got to do the blog. And what I found was that, and I learned this too from Brian Tracy, actually. He says when you have a specific goal, he probably doesn't mean do what I've done, but it's like I've been getting off track. But it's off track in a beautiful way because we're focused on what is the most valuable thing. So for those of you, this is the reality. For those of you that have been following each week, I hope that you're with me on the ride, and you could see I'm not like screwing off doing the weekly podcast and then like screwing off. I'm hustling, I'm working, I'm committed, I am persistent on this goal, okay? Focused on the objective, okay? And the only way that it's not happening, remember, it's we're speaking in present tense, is if I don't breathe anymore. So I'm very committed to that, okay? And the other point is, I believe, as I told you before in a different episode, it's like we're time traveling. So what's happening is we now have 6 hours of content going into 7 hours of content. That's creating multiple little reel clips. We're then creating other content. Wait till you see Mr. Jim Q. I'm an animated character flying around, talking with kids, creating content that teaches, that teaches. All this stuff is part of the ecosystem. How about other things? How about Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, the Gunny Hartman going out to the Marine Corps? All right. How about a meme like that echoing through this dimension? That's what we're all working on, but I'm only one guy. I'm trying to build a team. Another one I just want to say, can you imagine remember the scene where Gunny Hartman is speaking to, not Snowball, I do like that one though. Private Snowball, sir! I like that one. But when he's talking to Cowboy, right? And when he's talking to Cowboy, but can you imagine that scene with, if you have just seen recently, look up Brad Pitt versus Tom Cruise rooftop fight scene. Look it up. It's AI, but you can't even tell the difference. What if there was something like that with Gunnery Sergeant Hartman being like, you mean to tell me you haven't heard of Ode to the Marine Corps? And then it's Private Cowboy like, sir, no, sir. You like that vocal? It sounds just like Private Cowboy. Sir, no, sir. Well, you're going to learn about that, will you? Sir, yes, sir. Ode to the Marine Corps, right? The promotion right there. There's all kinds of ideas and content, but I can't do it all on my own. So that's part of what this is. And if I just keep consistent and persistent on my focus, coming here every week again and again and again, and I give you the updates, my belief is all this content broken down, it's going to start trickling out into the ecosystems everywhere, onto the internet, in this plane, in this dimension. And Quarless, the brand, Quarless.com, is the premier purpose-driven creative ecosystem on planet Earth and beyond. That's the freaking deal, all right? And once you understand, like, what does that mean? A purpose-driven means we have some morals. We have something we're trying to do. Not what we're trying to do, we are doing it. We are leaving a legacy, and we're doing it collectively with all people that have that same spirit energy in them. The spirit energy, the true spirit energy that resonates with the true God, however you perceive this God, and it reflects back to you in a way that you need to be kind to children and kind to others and help lift other people up. And you don't have this envy or jealousy when you see someone else succeeding, that is someone that is of a good nature. You cheer for them, right? These are the type of people we want to resonate, we want to attract and have part of our ecosystem, okay? And everybody benefits from that. So, okay. So the focus has been, so if you want to know what I've done this whole week, it started last week. I was talking trash about the ecosystem. Okay. This was the objective. This was the focus. Create a task management system within Quarless.com. There are cookie cutter, software or websites where you can have like project management, team management, task orientation, all this stuff that's outside of the ecosystem. There's Zapier where you could like link things together. What my objective was to do, and I'm not a techie, but it was to develop an internal task management system within Quarless.com. And that's it. That's objective number one. And whoever said learn to code is an ass, because I tried doing that over this past week. So if you want to know what I did, what I've done, I tried to build this task management system. I used multiple different AI tools to try to teach me and guide me. And I tried different ways to develop the system. And each of those, I was hitting a wall, okay? And we don't have the budget. If I was in a situation where there was a good, there was a supply, there was a budget that I could just say, who can do this? This is what I need. Hire that person. Okay, how much is it? Done. Make it happen. I want it done this week, okay? But that's not where we are right now. So where we are right now is we're on a shoestring budget. We have a limited team, and I became the tech support guy who needed to figure this out. So after lots of trial and error, the coding thing wasn't working, multiple efforts, what the result has been, it's right here. I'm gonna give you the official name, the Quarless Ops Task Management Automations, okay? We have 9 automations that are complete. And the reason I focused so much on this is because you need to have a solid foundation. Part of the solid foundation is that this is all behind the scenes. This has nothing to do with general members or customers of the site. This is the people that are involved with different brands and projects, dealing with operational functionality. They need a system within the system, okay? I didn't want to say, go to XYZ website to see what you need to do today. I want them to be on Quarless.com and click on the operations dashboard and then see something that pertains directly to them. These are your tasks, okay? So I'm just going to share quickly because and this was the thing too. Being persistent. So my objective for this week, among other things, but they all fell away because this was the primary objective. This was my primary mission. Troop welfare for myself took a back seat. The objective was to, stay with me, to get this automation done. Okay. And I'm proud to say that the automations are complete, and we're now entering in today to the testing phase. So we may need to do some tweaks, but just so you're aware of of what it is, what's he talking about? Okay. So either the admin, so we have three different levels. We have the operator level, so it's an operator. Then we have a mid level, which is an ops team. I'm sorry, an ops lead. So you have an operator level. You have the ops lead, which is sort of like a manager. You also have a project manager, and then the admin level. So this is like the owners or the directors. Okay, so there are three levels of task management, project management within the system. And with that said, notifications may go out to one or more. Okay, so I won't get into that, but just so you're aware, these are triggers that go out into the system, and it could either be email or through the notification function. Okay, so generally it's both. So an email will go out, but there'll also be a little ding notification in the system. We are developing the system more and more, so people go there and they want to use it. They feel good about using it. It's not a task, and keep in mind, it's a social network where you actually genuinely earn money, and you can take your creative energy, business acumen, etc., and develop something beautiful together in teams. Okay, so again, these are the automations. So one, we have task created. A task gets created, the task owner gets notified, as well as the manager or admin. Okay, we have a task's been reassigned for some reason, people get notified. There is a status change, which means a task has a life cycle, right? A task could be created and it's in a backlog. It's not even, we didn't even start it yet. Then it might be open, right? There's a process until finally it's completed and archived. So in that life cycle of a task, when there is a status change, a notification goes out to the manager or admin. Okay. And then the status change requires, this is all right. I have to share this because I was trying to make it super cool automation where there was one together. So it's like a status change happens and the date is linked to it. So that process is together, but based on the limitations of the system I'm using and my inability at this point to do the code required, I had to figure out, this is what took me all week, I had to figure out to get the result I wanted while still having the objective be that it all has to be self-contained in the system. So what it came down to was I figured out how to separate the automations and make everything function to where the people, whoever they are, the task owner, which would be anyone could be a task owner on any level, managers and the owners, admin. Okay. So we have the status change. We have the status change requiring a progress date. So if someone changes a status and there's no progress date, boom, an alert goes out like, hey, you need to document your process. Okay. And the others include, once the task is completed, it needs to go into a review, right? So it needs to be reviewed before it could be put into an archive status, and the completion date has to be enforced as well. And then also there is a daily due date. So it's like whatever's due that day, right? Like a daily report comes out. These are what's due. And then that allows the admin or managers to look at that. Okay, this is due today. And then they can reach out proactively. Like, hey, someone is a task owner. You reach out, hey, I see this is due today. What's the update? Are we good? You got it? And then it's like, yes, we're all good. It'll be done by 6 p.m. Or, hey, I'm having some issue. Oh, okay. And then this was the other one. It's due date has changed. Okay. Then there's a notification. So the task owner says, hey, I'm having some issue. I need another couple of days. So it's like, all right, couple of days, you got it. And then suddenly they'll get a notification that their due date has been changed by the administrator. Okay. So this is what I've been focused on. And I want to share because we have the part of the team now. We have a commerce systems coordinator who has idly been standing by, and I've been giving her updates because we have a lot to do in terms of developing the system on the e-commerce front with the store, the affiliate system. We have a beautiful system that we have developed, integrating a few different platforms integrated together with the branding element of Quarless.com, with all the sub brands, including Ode to the Marine Corps, Mr. Jim Q. We have a Chinese martial arts project. There are many others, okay? And we continue to develop new music, and other content. So that's why this is so different from everything else. This is real content. We're developing intellectual property and connecting it to people that helped create it, that helped promote it, okay? And again, charitable brands, etc. I'm sweating, I just don't care. All right, here we go. And then I want to share, so that was the point. The system, that was the most critical thing this week, because if you don't have a solid foundation, right, that's the solid foundation is the ability to create tasks and manage tasks related to multiple different projects, which move the system forward and really build something that is of an epic scale. That's what we're focused on. And if I'm running around, translating, and this was my thought process. If I'm running around putting out little fires here and there, and doing the blog and doing this, but we don't have a system in place to manage tasks and help grow the system. That's going to be our faulty foundation. And then maybe our commerce systems coordinator, who's been standing by ready to go, is like, man, what's going on? Is this guy incompetent or what? And then they're out, right? So it's like, so luckily, this person is still on board. Kimmy is the project manager for MrJimQ.com, which is officially launching today. So again, and you can go to, it's MrJimQ.com. You could check the link in the comments, but also on Facebook, IG, and YouTube. It is simply Mr. Jim Q is the handle. MrJimQ, Mr. Jim Q. Go check that out. We are revolutionizing early childhood education. Global will be its effect. And the reason I'm saying will be is because what's happening now is we are rapidly changing the Hong Kong education system, specifically English. I just want to share a lot of the way the system works here for, it's like 95% Hong Kong Chinese. The way they learn, and Cantonese language is basically like each syllable could be its own. It's very choppy is the point. And the grammar structure is totally inverted, right? It's very different than English. But it's a very kind of, the rhythm is a totally different rhythm than how we communicate in English. And what they do is they teach, number one, the problems. They teach the kids way too late. So by the time the kids are 3, they learn like one word, like apple, ball, cat. It's like ridiculous when they're 3 years old, okay? But those same kids, when they're 1, they're speaking Cantonese, they're speaking Mandarin, they're communicating with their parents and their surroundings, so they have the capability. Just like anyone out there in an English-speaking community or area, it. Kids are, they're forming these like, blah, blah, they're forming, banana, they're forming these words when at a very young age. And what they do sadly here is, number one, they don't believe the kid can be bilingual or trilingual at an early age. So they start them late. And then when they do start them, they teach grammar first. And they don't contract ideas like, it's a ball. Like, hey, what is that? It's a ball. They teach it is a ball. And with their Cantonese grammar structure, or I should say, what's the term? The term is slipping me, but the way they flow with the language, their melody of the cadence. the cadence of their language is very different. So it becomes like they try to use it's just a mess. And then, so what we're doing with Mr. Jim Q, the brand, is we are developing Hong Kong specific content, songs, etc. And we are at the root level, right? We're changing we're going to make it, okay? We are making it to where when a child that's part of our program, and we're extending this out everywhere, all kindergartens, learning centers, everywhere, the Hong Kong Education Board, everyone knows Mr. Jim Q and what we offer. And what we are doing is we are challenging the system to level up, because the students that are part of our program, when they get to kindergarten, when all the other kids, I'm talking about ethnically Chinese grown up here, anyone else that's gone to play groups or that are the traditional standard style, and all they do in play group is have fun, and then they go to school at 3 years old and they learn, they know apple, and they don't even say apple, they say apple, right? Our students are going to be in there like, oh, it's an apple. Yeah, it's red, and the teacher's going to be like, oh, maybe our students are going to be teaching the teachers. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm super confident. And the reason we focused on that as well this past week, you got to check out the website, mrjimq.com. It also redirects, it links to within the Quarless ecosystem. And actually this week, I'll tell you what we're doing this week. We are creating on the navigation, it'll say like under explore, you go to explore and it'll say brands. And then there you'll see all the brands we're developing with a dedicated page to that brand. Right now, like Quarless.com/Mr. Jim Q, you could see what we got going. Designed and developed by Kimmy Hong. The thing is on point. So thank you for that. We worked on that together, creating the content, doing the translation, and for both the site and the page. And the reason this is very important to us is because this has been my main source of income is through education. So we are turning up the heat. I feel hot. We're turning up the heat on the education element, and we're focusing on getting more revenue, connecting with partner organizations to teach in the classroom and show our method, train teachers so they know what the Mr. Jim Q method is all about. It includes rhythmic grammar, adaptive phonics. There's a whole system I have that I've developed over teaching young learners over 12 years, okay? That's all part of the system. We're getting that out there for everybody. But part of that process is generating more income. With that income, we further develop the Mr. Jim Q brand, as well as we feed the Quarless machine. All right? So, and we work on the other brands. So this week, my objective, number one, is again, build those brand pages. So for example, right now, odetothemarinecorps.com goes to the actual, goes to the website, odetothemarinecorps.com. We are now bringing that, we're migrating that over into the Quarless ecosystem. So we'll have quarless.com/odetothemarinecorps will be all that content you need there. And then so we're going to build those out. So this week, number one, the explore on navigation, explore brands, the different brand pages we're working on. Specifically this week, communications wise, Ode to the Marine Corps. There is, please go there right now, Marine. We have a Facebook group that is, if you just go to Facebook groups, look up Ode to the Marine Corps. Go there now, please check it out, join. This is going to be our hub to get the word out. Our objective for Ode to the Marine Corps, the project, is that every living Marine knows these words, Ode to the Marine Corps, all right? And so that's the objective. And if you really look at, if you go to odetothemarinecorps.com, you'll see a press release. It'll give a full breakdown of who I am, what the purpose of the project is, but ultimately it is to uplift the morale and project how the Marine Corps is so different than any other organization, military or otherwise, and it's to project that within our own borders, but also externally, so everyone could feel that energy, right? And that's why I want to. This is the objective, to do like a simple a cappella meme. People can do it. Anyone can do it. You just turn your camera on. And you go up, up, up to the Marine Corps. All right. And you just get it out there. Share with your friends. All right. That's the objective. So, ode to the Marine Corps, communications, just getting it out there. All of the Marines within my friend group and beyond that, influencers, even the command. I'm talking the top down. JD, sir, let's go. So the objective is to make sure, and again, if our objective is ode to the Marine Corps is known by every living Marine, that includes the Vice President of the United States. He at least knows about it. And if through this process, it could be known. There could be, for example, the Marine Corps that has a drum corps and bugle corps. Okay, a group of musicians that focus on drums and bugle, and that group, it would be outstanding if they could play the instrumental version. All right. So, ode to the Marine Corps, Mr. Jim Q. And we have a mystery brand being launched. And I'll give you one hint. Show me, don't tell me, Gobbler. And when I say Gobbler, it's actually Bajan for God blind you. But you got to say it with the Bajan accent, Gobbler. All right. So, everything else, just getting caught up with everything. Episodes 3 through 7 gotta be there. If they're not there by next week, you got some serious planning to do. All right. Thanks so much. I'm sending you love. All right. We'll see you next week. Bye. Make sure right now, if you're on here, you're watching this, go to Quarless.com and join for free. Very simply, you go there on the navigation, there's a join button. You go there, you click join, you see the free option, you just join for free. It's super easy, and then you will get a premium membership 1-year upgrade on us. Plus, we still don't have 100 founding members yet. You will be part of the 100 founding members, which includes extra perks and bennies. And part of it is it's sort of like a little bit of like a reality show where we want to make the most members that are part of the founding 100. We want to make them not worry about money for the rest of their lives. We're not talking about FU money at a level where you have private yachts and private planes and all that, but a level where you can travel where you want, eat what you want, not worry about healthcare, and grow old, grow to whenever you're supposed to grow, however long you're supposed to go, you go that distance in good health, and you don't worry about money. That's the objective for the Founding 100. So if that's resonating with you, just get on there, join for free, and we'll give you that upgrade. All right. Thank you. Much love. Talk soon. Bye. Ooh. How many minutes was that?
5-9.
Nice.
Oh.